Okay, I'm sitting here, and I'd like you to say your name for me, please.
Joe Tierno.
And?
Greg Prihatket.
Okay, these are the instrumental people in getting this race together this weekend. I wonder if you can explain to me, just when we saw the winner's circle, 3 cars came in, and those were the first 3 people to be in the race, winning the race?
Not quite. The cars, because they cover so many years and so many different varieties, are broken down to different classes, and so that's how they determine it. And but there's some very interesting cars there, especially Don Martin's car. This is the fellow that came all the way from California. He lives on the Pacific Ocean, within a mile or so of Pebble Beach. He chose to come to Watkins Glen, and I think that's a good example for a lot of you. No, I mean you shouldn't be expected to travel 3,000 miles, but certainly this is a place worth coming to. And the car he brought here has a lot of West Coast history. It's the ex-Johnny von Neumann car. It was raced by a number of famous drivers on the West Coast and back in the 50s. And we were really pleased when he said he'd come. He called at the last minute. He had problems and blew up an engine or worked all sorts of long hours to get his car going. Like a lot of other people, that's part of the sport. It takes a tremendous amount of dedication, and none of us are professionals, but we sure know how to have a good time.
Okay, can you tell me how we happen to get the number 7 car here? What's the story behind him and how did he get here?
Well, Joe is the one that really can answer that. He worked on that.
Oh, okay. Let's ask Joe.
The way I understand it is that the Downtown Festival Committee, who's been doing a great job in building towards the 50th anniversary of the downtown race, were able to find out that he still exists. And as I understand it, he is the only driver and car combination for the 1948 race. So we're really blessed to have him. And not only that, he's a very, very great character. If you hear him speak, or I'm sure you've interviewed him, a genuine, warm human being with that southern charm and wonderful wit and great racing courage. And when I got a call from him a couple months ago, he said, "Hi, my name's Denver Cornett." I almost fell over because, this is only something you read about. People of his caliber who raced in the early days and had some involvement with Briggs Cunningham and all these great people. And I was just honored. I mean, I consider that one of the real benefits of this thing, to be able to talk to people like that. It makes it worth the while.
How long did it take you to prepare for this race today? What did you have to do? How did you contact all these people?
Oh, okay, this started back with really Joe contacting me, I'd say about 1.5 years ago. We got started on this. And in the past year, we've been extensively talking with each other, writing, contacting other people. AT&T loves us. My phone bills are very large. We've been leaving messages and faxes to each other. Okay, I'm the editor of the MG Vintage Racers newsletter, and we have about 135 members actively racing MGs in the newsletter. That was where we started. From there, we went through other magazines, other clubs, contacts, people we know, and Joe, then I passed the information on to Joe, and we developed our own database, and we started contacting everyone. We got a lot of pre-commitment in advance. People way before SVRA would even take, any entries for the racetrack. And we started building up the confidence level, and we saw 30 cars and 35, and almost every week Joe would call me, "You won't believe this, we got another one." And it's just something that kept snowballing. And as we got the commitment and people realized that we weren't joking, that this was really going to happen, everyone came on board. And then we got lucky in some ways, like Denver Cornett, that we got. Frank Rupp and SVRA cooperated and gave us a lot of leadway in things that would normally be problems to where we could get people here who might not normally race. We got commitments like our own paddock area. We got our own party. Don Funk, I'd like to mention, also worked with us, and we did extensive work and support, both Don and Carol Funk, to help us put on the party last night, our information center. And I tell you, it's been an experience, but it's all worthwhile. If we had asked for a perfect turnout of a weekend, this is it. I can't think of anything that could have gone better this weekend than what happened. And I've never seen so many happy and enthusiastic MG people out there in a true spirit of what I think we should be doing.
I'd like to add something.
Right.
Greg is a very, very modest man. When he said he's the editor of MG Vintage Racers, he's really he does every job. He's the only guy that's there. It's a one-man band. He does a newsletter. He develops a database. More importantly, he's been doing it for 15 years. When he single-handedly convinced the VSCCA, which runs in New England mostly, to accept T-type MGs in their program. He's been putting out a newsletter for 15 years. He's developed questionnaires and databases and surveys all these years, and you couldn't meet a nicer guy. Another interesting thing is, Greg and I have spent so much time on the phone and writing letters, but interesting enough, about 3 years ago, we met face-to-face for the first time for maybe a period of 5 to 10 minutes. I was worried that I might not recognize him, but here we pulled this off without face-to-face contact, but really, he's not just the editor. He is the heart and soul. He is MG Vintage Racing, and that's why I was determined to circumvent his very elaborate and time-consuming thing that he spent a lot of time developing to make sure he got it. Unfortunately for me, I think he deserved it himself, but I'm happy. I couldn't be happier, but he's a real gentleman.
Okay, any plans for next year? Might I just ask?
Well, you know, we got talking about that. Certainly, we could never expect to duplicate this next year because too many people have to travel too great a distance. I kind of sold this package and the idea of a mini vacation, so people took to it. By the way, Max Neal, the Schuyler County Chamber of Commerce, helped us go a long way when she sent out a vacation land package, because I'm a real big fan of New York State, and upstate New York is where I lived all my life. And I said, there's a lot to see here. People should make a big trip out of it. So we got people from Florida and Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama, make it a family thing. This is a family sport. And so that really helped a lot, too. So I want to give her some credit. But I digress. What was I going to say?
Next year.
Oh, next year, yes. So I'm hoping, because of my deep concern about the fact that I was worried that the Collier Cup might be dropped from the race program after the 40th year because it is a nice round number. How can, and SVRA, to their great credit, Frank Rupp in particular, carried this event on a very busy track, and we would go out there, either 8 to 10 cars, and take up all that track time that could be given to other people. So he stuck by us, and we finally came through and earned our place here. And as I said before, one of the things I really I wrote in something somewhere along the line. I said it's time for MGs to take their rightful place in history at Watkins Glen, and I think we've gone a long way towards that. We were talking earlier, though, with all this database and planning and work involved, it really would be a shame to let it slip by the wayside. So maybe there's some way we can have a bigger turnout here every year, of course, but have a sponsor step forward and help us out, and maybe go to a different track every year to make that the major feature event, or not major event, just to get us together. It's a wonderful network of people.
Okay, so this is in the planning stages, and we'll just look for it.
Well, give us a couple of beers, and we'll probably start planning.
Right, we have another comment over here.
A lot of what I've been involved with racing MG since 1977, a lot of what has developed has never really been planned. It's like one little race led to a newsletter, it led to something else, some more friends. We had a race at Pittsburgh where we get 15 MGs, and we thought that was outstanding. Then Lime Rock, and we had 25 MGs. Nothing was ever really planned for the next year. People would come together, events would come together, special things would happen, and I'm not sure what will happen next year, but I just get this feeling that we're headed in a direction that something will happen somewhere. And I tell you, right now, the grass needs cutting. I need to spend some time with my little girl, a bunch of projects at home I have to do. I need a little recovery time, but we'll wait and see what develops. I have a feeling something will, just what I don't know.
Okay, well, I have a feeling we're talking to the spirit of the group right here, and we'll be looking forward to next year and future years.
Thank you.
Thank you both.